There were several times today I looked up at the wall of monitors, 3 or 4 different cable networks at the same time. Donald versus Carly. Donald Trump insults Carly Fiorina's face. It's as if this is the most important issue in the presidential campaign. And I'm not saying it's not an issue. I just wrote a column saying that Trump was becoming more of a politician, that he was being a bit more restrained, that he wasn't insulting his rivals or even the media quite as much. And then, bam, this comes from a Rolling Stone interview, and Carly Fiorina's face came on a monitor on an airplane. And in front of a reporter, Trump says, "Look at that face. Look at that face. Can you imagine that person as president? Who would vote for that face?" And then he says, "I probably shouldn't say this because she's a woman, but all right, here's Kurtz's first rule of thumb. When any public figure says, I probably shouldn't say this, they probably shouldn't." But immediately the commentators, the analyzers, the pundits, the opinion mongers, has Donald Trump gone too far this time? Well, every single time people in my line of work ask that question, it turns out no. Of course, this time could be different. Maybe a lot of women are insulted. Interesting, I was chatting with Carly Fiorina here at Fox before she went on Megyn Kelly's show, and you could tell that she was determined not to sort of get down in the mud pit with Donald Trump, not to make fun of his face or hair or escalate. Instead, she just kind of said, well, it seems to me I might be getting under Donald Trump's skin just a little bit because I'm coming up in the polls. So while that wildfire is raging, there's also Ben Carson versus Donald Trump. And this one surprised me because Ben Carson, and the whole essence of his candidacy is that he's sort of a soft-spoken guy who talks about his faith. And I have not in this campaign seen him throw a punch the way he did at Donald Trump. He openly questioned Trump's faith when asked hardly a gotcha question, a reporter at a forum saying, how do you differentiate yourself from Donald Trump? And Trump, you may recall, said he didn't want to get into his favorite Bible phrase. Carson, of course, had a favorite Bible phrase handy and said he wasn't sure that Trump was sincere about his faith. And then he quoted a Bible proverb about humility. So that was a clear attempt by the guy who's now running number 2 in many polls to take on the Donald. And of course, Trump hits back, calling into a couple of morning shows saying, well, I'm not so sure about his faith, and he's an okay doctor. Okay, the guy's a world-class pediatric neurosurgeon, not something that just anybody can do. Carson later telling the Washington Post, well, I apologize if Trump was offended, if he thought it was a personal attack. The media want us to fight like gladiators. Well, the media do like when the candidates fight like gladiators, but not in this case. Carson mounted this attack without much provocation from that particular reporter. So the media are wallowing in this. They're loving it. They love the food fight, the rhetoric, the sound bites you can play back and forth. Jeb Bush has a new bold tax plan. That's gotten some newspaper stories. I certainly haven't seen much television coverage. Hillary Clinton came out for, a $350 billion plan essentially to pay for community college. Haven't seen much of that either. Issues, the stuff that people really care about, the economy, jobs, healthcare, so far taking a back seat in this campaign. Very early for these Republican candidates to be attacking each other, swinging away like this. But for the media, it can't come soon enough.